Buenos días and welcome to Moments con Margarita. I want to begin today's session with stress. Stress, we all have it on our daily basis of our lives. We stress about negative things as well as we stress over positive things. Let's say if you got fired, you're stressed because you don't know how soon you're going to find another job, how you're going to pay your bills. Let's say you got the job you want and now you're stressed. Are you going to be able to do the job, keep the job? You're so excited, but it also stresses you out. So stress has its positive and negatives as everything else does in life. But stress in the way that I'm referring to today is very damaging. And I urge you all to find an outlet for that stress. Whatever it may be, whatever your talents are, whatever you enjoy doing, do it as an outlet for that stress because we're going to have it. It's going to consume us sometimes if we do nothing about it. If we don't find something that's conducive to our health to relieve that stress, it can cause severe damages to our bodies, to our physicalness, not to mention emotionally. It can actually paralyze us. In my situation, I allowed stress to come in, and a lot of the stress caused me anger, weight gain, self-doubt. It caused me body aches that I didn't know I had, or why do I have them? And for me, the most damaging has been insomnia, because on top of the weight gain, on top of the stress, on top of being a caregiver and every day grieving in silence as this monster called ALS ravaging my husband's body. And then the anger sets in because by nature I'm an angry little person. So I had to find an outlet, and I didn't. In the beginning, I was just so consumed with the caretaking of my husband that one, I forgot about myself, so the stress didn't slap me in the face as quickly. And then I started to realize that I was becoming bitter. My anger was mounting. I was lethargic. I had no desires to do anything. And then I flipped it. I did flip it, but it did take me some time because I didn't have anyone to. I read a lot. I read all the time, but I didn't have anyone to come and sit and talk to me. And if they did, which I'm sure they did, so I apologize for saying that, but because of where I was at, I didn't listen. So I prayed a lot. I began praying, and that helped, and God provided me with talents I didn't even know I had. So I started, as I said in one of my first videos, making soaps, and that helped, and it made me feel good. And I was making organic soaps to bathe my husband in because I didn't want all the toxins that are out there and all the products we buy. And then that started relieving. And then as I started doing that, the doubt in my own talents started decreasing. And I went on to make jewelry, and I sold that, and then painting. But stress, we have to find a way to control it. And we have to find a purpose, a reliever that's conducive to our lifestyle. People who get stressed out, they tend to drink and smoke and do whatever that's really just hindering your growth. And life is about evolving, my people. So we have to evolve. And sometimes we have to take a step away from ourselves to really observe what we're doing and what we're harnessing that's conducive to us, that's going to make us a better person, and what we're taking on that is just deteriorating us, preventing us from becoming our full purpose in life. And we need to stay focused on ourselves, and a lot of that happens through prayer. The more conversations we have with God, the more faith we build in our God, He puts it back in us, and we have faith in us, and He shows us. He gives us clarity and direction. And so with stress, there's just some highlights I want to give you of some of the damage it can cause. One being asthma, obesity, diabetes, you get headaches, you get gastro, problems. But there's two that are very, very important, that whenever we get stressed out to the point where we just want to sit and wallow in our own self-pity, remember that stress also causes heart attacks and Alzheimer's disease. So if you have people who depend on you, if you depend on you, then you have to take care of you. As I said yesterday, we have to own our now. And by owning our now is owning every emotion that we feel. Own it. Sometimes we feel that we can't allow ourselves to be sad or too happy, regardless of where we're at. In the beginning of my husband's, when my husband first became ill, I felt guilty even just going to the store because he couldn't. It took me about 2.5 years to actually get a pedicure because I felt I didn't deserve to sit there for 45 minutes and get pampered. And he would encourage me to go, but I allowed that stress to consume me, to feed into that guilt. And finally I went, and it was like, oh my goodness, it was like the best. So you have to live in your moment. You have to feel your emotions. You have to accept it, embrace it, and then celebrate yourself for the simple fact that you acknowledge what it is you're feeling 100%. And that's not being selfish. You must be selfless when it comes to you and your health, mentally, physically, emotionally. You must be selfless. And I'm learning this now, and this is why I want to share it, because I don't want the many of you who are watching to have to go through all of that. There's no need for us to add suffering to what's already around us. If anything, when we see the suffering, we must work harder to add some joy into it, to add some laughter. You know, I tell people that my husband and I, even though he's totally paralyzed, that we argue, fuss, and laugh every single day. He's so calm. His demeanor is such a peaceful, calm demeanor. And I am like the Tasmanian devil. We are so opposite. I'm bouncing off the walls at times. And then there's times that I'll sit and watch TV with him and I'm asleep before the show starts. So, but we do that. We argue, fuss, and laugh every single day because we have accepted our lifestyle and we don't enable each other. And we give ourselves a 24-hour pity party period. That's all we're allowed. So regardless of what's going on, it's only 24 hours and then on to the next task. So stress. Acknowledge that you're stressed. And then, as I mentioned in my prior videos, there's always a positive to a negative. So if today you're feeling you made the wrong decision in your life and now you feel like the most horrible person because you made all these changes and it's wrong, it's not wrong, because God will not steer you astray. So if you prayed about a decision and then you fulfilled it, whatever it may have been, changing jobs, changing your hairstyle, moving from state to state, you're there for a reason. There's a purpose. You are where you are. So please, aside from feeling stressed out about it and things are not working your way, it's not going to work your way unless you put prayer into it, because our plans are not the plans of God. So we have to say, okay, this is where I'm at right now. It's not working out the way I feel it should be working out at this time, by this date. Well, you know what? You need to erase that date. You need to live in your moment and own your now. And when you're so stressed out that all you want to do is either lash out, or what I do, go grab a cigarette, because it is my only vice at this point in my life, my negative vice. Just sit down, sit in silence. See, I love Buddha, because Buddha to me is not a religion. It is a way of life. And sometimes when I look at my Buddhas that I have throughout my house, it's just a reminder to me to sit the hell down. Just sit down, Margie, because as I said earlier, I'm like the Tasmanian devil. I don't allow myself time to sit, and then this starts rolling and then I have to fight harder to just sit down, to sit in silence and clear my mind. You know what? It's okay. Right now, I'm breathing. My husband's breathing. My children are beautiful. My grandchildren are safe. Everything in the world around me is okay.